feel like we need to do that. I feel like that's like really key to what our lives are right now.
Yeah.
Our living lives.
I'm trying to remember what life context I've ever been exposed to tarot decks. Certainly not ever to physical cards, but like I think it's a thing that shows up in media and like
they're in movies a lot.
In movies and in video games. And I'm trying to think of a video game.
Persona borrows them a lot.
Yeah.
Chrissy was telling me about that. Like
That's
the arcana, the whole nature of the cards like that. Obviously it doesn't map exactly, but and the other thing is that the 78 card deck is just like one variant. Like there's tons of different variants that alter the deck size and things like that.
I'm trying to remember what town has the auction house.
Was it by the Opera House?
This is the Opera House.
It's like the Richie Rich town, right?
I think it's this one.
Like
I'm not
Father,
super
buy me
sure.
a chocobo.
Father.
Daddy,
Yes.
I want a chocobo.
Yeah, this is the one. Okay, so here's the real question. And we do have a pretty decent amount of GP.
So I'm not entirely understanding what we're supposed to be accomplishing at the auction house.
So basically we just have to do auctions until the thing we want shows up.
Which is?
There are 2 espers here.
Okay, so this is just literally us repeating the same thing over and over until we get a random result.
Pretty much.
Okay, cool. We could just hang out and chat.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of
We can
figuring.
clink-a-link these beers and
we
drink-a-link
can
them as well.
Enjoy our beverages.
Yeah.
Bid on items.
Part of what I had actually gotten it before this, but I was pretty excited. I watched this movie called Werewolves on Wheels, which I believe I've told you about before.
I'm sorry, there's an imp robot on display?
You're not gonna believe this. High quality, high tech merchandise. An imp robot. Do I hear 5 GP? 10 GP? 50 GP? 500 Jeep?
500.
2,000 Jeeps? Well, how about it? Buy it for 5,000 Jeep.
Please.
Ooh, 5,000 Jeep.
Papa, I want that, please.
No, you don't. Now pipe down.
10,000 Jeep.
I want it. Buy it pretty, please.
20,000 Jeep, I guess.
Yeah, like, who is calling these bids?
What the fuck?
Alright.
Wait, is this what we want?
I don't know. I'm just bidding on anything I can. Because the things that you can't actually buy, the kid and his dad always win. As far as I can tell.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So it's like,
Do we
there's
have
no
this
risk
much
to me to
money?
say buy it.
Do we have this much money?
We have 260,000.
Oh, okay, so we should be able to cover it. If it's
Yeah.
okay.
Are there any more bids?
1 million GP.
What? 1 million Jeeps? Sold to this lucky person. Take it away.
Sold to
please.
this fucking idiot.
And of course I am referring to the child.
Yahoo! Thanks, Papa. Yahoo!
Ho, ho, ho. All right. But just this once, and keep it a secret from Mama.
Eat the rich. Kill them all.
Well, we have our treat for the day. Let's
Holy
go
fuck.
home.
Such an indictment right now. Yahoo! Yippee! Yay!
Yahoo! Things.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Wait, the platypus went with them?
That's the Emperor buff.
Well, that's all for today. Come back again real soon.
And so we have the distinct pleasure of just doing this over and over.
Well, great. Okay, so, let's just, have a nice chat. But anyway, in Werewolves on Wheels, excuse me, which is a film, by the way, about a biker gang called the Devil's Advocates, who stumble upon a satanic church and get cursed by the satanic monks therein, and gradually lycanthropize and tear each other apart. It's pretty much the ultimate, post Easy Rider, anti-hippie dream. The hippie dream wasn't never gonna work. This is a nightmare. It just ends in cosmic death where our brotherhood tears itself apart. It's pretty much the ultimate, bummer. The werewolves coming out revealing their bestial nature that was always kind of there, underlying there. The surface brotherhood of outlawhood. But one of the main characters' name is... They all have names like Mouse and shit. And this guy's name, one of the guys' name is Tarot, and he has a handmade tarot deck that he reads from at the beginning of the film. I thought that was kind of neat.
So when are you going to read my tarot?
Whenever you like.
Tell me my future.
You ask it a question, and then I'm still learning the minor arcana, because there's a lot of them. Obviously. And they all have very specific meanings. But they're also, like, that's kind of what's cool about them. They have, like, kind of established meanings in a sense, or established narratives that you can apply to the image, but you can also read them intuitively. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think that's really cool.
Sure. We'll buy a hero ring right now. We'll get outbid anyway. Yeah,
Stupid child. What is he gonna use this for? You know what I mean? Like, what's he gonna do with it?
It doesn't seem like the kid is actually bidding on this. I don't know that I want it for 50.
Oh, come on.
I think that's one I can actually win. I just don't give a shit about a hero ring, honestly.
We don't want a hero ring.
No, I want fucking espers.
We want fucking espers.
Yeah, I want espers for to fuck.
Yeah, Ryan's really fucked up and weird about shit.
Alright.
Okay, Ryan.
Yes.
Would you like to hear the films that I watched this month?
All 59 of them? One at a time? Oh, here we go. The Magicite Zone Seek.
Oh, that doesn't sound cool, but alright.
Who'll give me 500 GP?
Who will give me 500 GP for that shit?
1,000 Jeeps?
Oh, there's nothing I can't buy.
1,500 Jeeps?
1,500 Jeeps.
2,000 Jeeps.
1,500 Jeeps.
3,000 Jeeps. 5,000 Jeeps.
Yo, 3,000 Jeeps.
How about I'll buy it for 7,000 Jeeps.
Oh, there's nothing I can't buy, right?
Ah, fuck off.
Right, I'm prepared at any time to share with you this voluminous list of filmic curiosities.
10,000 Jeeps, I got it.
Good job, buddy.
Thanks. Received the Magicite Zone Seek, which is a weird name. Alright, let's real quick just take a look at what this does.
Yeah, let's check it out, what it is.
What it is.
I didn't mean to say it like that.
Cast shell on the party.
Ooh. Zone Seek.
Ooh, that's a
rasp.
fast osmose. Look at that. Times 15. Alright,
Oh,
I'm
hell
gonna give
yeah.
that to my boy.
It doesn't rasp.
Rasp just damages MP.
Oh, okay, that's why it's quicker. Okay.
No, I'm not saying that. It's quicker because Shiva's learn rate for osmosis times 4.
Yeah, no, I was looking at Zone Seek. I was wondering why Rasp had a higher learn rate than Osmose, and it's probably because you don't absorb it.
Yeah, because it's not as good.
It's not as good, yeah.
Functionally. But
But still, that's cool.
Yeah.
That wall of raspberries was still one of my favorite things that ever happened in the thread.
Man, remember when we spent an hour just rasping and osmosing, like, over and over?
I remember
that part of this game.
I do remember that. It was very good.
Final Fantasy VI, best Final Fantasy by many people's metrics. Lately, it hasn't been that great.
Oh, it's a hero ring, great, yeah. Okay, Ryan, I'm gonna regale you.
Tell me all about it.
So I want you to just treat this as kind of a short performance art piece, okay?
Okay.
You can stop me at any point.
All right.
Ghost
Stop.
House.
Sorry, I pulled the trigger a little early on that.
I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. You do you, but
I'm just kidding.
Ghost House.
Like this one, like this house that
This haunted house, which is full of witchery.
Full of ghosts in here.
Actually, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn them into a story for you. So Ryan moved into a ghost house, which was once inhabited by witches who practiced witchery. What Ryan hopes to do now that he's moved into this place is to he wants to I can't think of how to use this in a sentence.
You got it.
He wants to have a conquest of the witches. He's going to enlist the help of Dracula, who is now in 3D.
Is Dracula a witch?
No, he's going to help you fight the witches.
I'm sorry.
But what you didn't know is that the witches are actually alien beasts. And of course, the problem is when you try to tell anybody this, they're just like, you're telling me extraordinary tales. And then you even tried to tell Christine. And she tried to be helpful. She referred you to the Mad Doctor of Blood Island, and you were like, "How the hell am I going to get to the, island of blood?" And you somehow managed to get there, if you'll recall, right? And guess what you found there?
What did I find?
You found Dr. Frankenstein, but he was fighting Dracula. And you're like, "What is this? Dracula versus Frankenstein? Great, this is not helpful." You came back home. Everything is in pieces. And there's a dude named Patrick in there. And you're like, "Patrick, what the hell?"
Oh, Patrick. That was a film. I watched that one.
I liked Patrick.
Yeah.
Did you not like it?
No, it was good. I mean, it was
super. I want to hear your thoughts.
There were parts of it that were just like so deeply. Was that Australia?
Yeah.
Deeply Australian, like
yeah, they
just
were.
like I don't know, some of the like the headmistress nurse.
Yeah,
being like such a psycho. Like I don't know.
I think it was also like a product of its time. Like every portrayal of like hospitals and mental health in like pre now is like horrible.
Also, just straight up using electroshock therapy. Like what? The
Oh yeah. I've watched multiple movies this month that feature electroshock therapy as like a common treatment. Patrick told you that he's a member of a group called the Zombie 3. You asked what the other two are.
The newest movie from Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah,
the Zombie 3.
The Zombie 3. He said, you found him sleeping on a couch, and you asked him, what are you doing here? And he said, sorry, I just woke up from a nightmare on Elm Street about the Dream Warriors. And you're like, okay. To me, this is more like the Night of the Creeps, aka you, Patrick, you asshole. About that time, you hear a knock at the door. You go downstairs, and standing before you are the skate witches, not to be confused with the witches that are inhabiting your house. They say you can't join them unless you have a rat, and then you tell... Oops, sorry. And you're like, they insult you, Ryan. Mm-hmm. You remember that. They called you a subspecies.
Mm-hmm. That's super rude.
And then one of them cursed you by saying, you're going to get the long hair of death.
Yes. That could not be the name of the movie. Come on. The Long Hair of Death?
It is. It's an Italian film.
So dumb.
It's a really great movie starring Barbara Steele. It's a total ripoff of Bloody Sunday.
Bloody Sunday?
Different one, actually. That has to do with the IRA, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There is a movie called Bloody Sunday, or Sunday Bloody Sunday, but this is different.
God
Wait,
damn.
Bloody Sunday? What? Black Sunday?
Oh,
Why
gosh.
not?
Isn't Sunday
Black
Bloody Sunday
Sabbath?
like a lyric to a fucking Green Day song or something?
I think it's a U2 song.
U2.
Sabbath
Sure.
Bloody Sabbath is a Sabbath song.
God damn.
I think I'm thinking Black Sunday, sorry. Because it's Black Sabbath, both Mario Bros. Movies. I'm getting there. Anyway, they ran away saying, it was like, have fun in the mansion of the living dead, you asshole. And then you're like, I'm gonna put Ju-on the curse on you. I'm gonna Ju-on the curse 2 on you, Patrick. And then Patrick's like, fuck this, I don't live in a house full of a phantasm. And you're like, what, Patrick, you got a grudge against me? And he's like, I'm going to the opera right now. I'm leaving and I'm going to the opera. And then you looked at him with your two evil eyes. And then this had taken most of the night, so you're like, well, now it's the dawn of the dead as the witches start howling again. And you're like, now there's only one. Well, I only saw one zombie. Where are the other two from the Zombie 3? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then you started to wonder, maybe these aren't witches after all, Ryan. Maybe they're, this is a poltergeist too. It's a witch and a poltergeist too. I mean, have you ever been to the other side?
I'm not.
And then, god damn it, you hear Patrick come back and he said, it's the Poltergeist 3! And he's like, why is everything 3 with you, Patrick? And he doesn't answer, he just leaves. You get a knock at the door. There's a monster standing there. You ask him, hey, who are you? What are you doing at my house? And he says, hi, I'm Frank Stein. And he forces his way inside and runs upstairs, which confuses you, obviously. Then you hear some strange noises coming from one of the rooms. Amorous noises.
Oh no.
And you're like, oh no, is this the ravishing of
house?
Frankenstein?
Oh, God.
And then you're like, well, if that's what she wants. And then, I mean, you start thinking about what can I do to increase my level of home security.
Yes.
I'd like to outfit my cats with weapons when I'm not home. But the problem is, you don't have a cat with hands.
That is not the name of the movie. Are you kidding me?
You're like, maybe if there were some mutations involved. But there aren't. And then you start to wonder about those lights you saw the other day. Right when you moved in, you know? Right around the same time that you started hearing all these weird noises in your house. And you're like, maybe it was the UFOs? Maybe. And then you sat down to watch The Phantom of the Opera.
Right.
And then after that, you watched The Phantom of the Opera. And then after that, you watched Phantom of the Opera.
I'm confused. Did you watch the same movie 3 times?
I watched 3 different versions of the Phantom. Watched the original silent, the Joel Schumacher version with Gerard Butler as the Phantom.
Awesome.
It was amazing. It was fucking glorious. I cried a lot. And then I watched the 43 version with Claude Rains as a really old man Phantom. And then something about Rocky Horror Picture Show. Let's do the time warp again.
Something.
Man, I've watched a lot of movies. This is getting tiresome. Okay. But I'm one to commit. Then this really eerie thing happened, Ryan. Do you remember this?
I think so.
You and Tracy both woke up in the middle of the night, and Tracy just looked like she was looking out into nothing and said, "Who are the others?" And you're like, "Dracula." And she's like, and you're like, "Do we really have to live through 30 days of night?" And then Tracy said, "If this town is ruled by the lords of Salem."
There's no one that can hear you when you say.
If this town is ruled by the lords of Salem, and you're like, "God damn it!" And then it's gonna be Halloween soon, and you ask Tracy, "Is this Halloween 4 or is this Halloween 5?" And then you try to get back to sleep, but you can't because of the screaming queens that are rioting over at Compton's cafeteria. But Tracy says, "Pay it no mind."
The Screaming Queens.
It's a documentary about the Compton's cafeteria riot led by drag queens back in the 60s. Something the Devil's Reign, Werewolves on Wheels, and then, you're blabbering. Police show up.
That is not the name of the movie.
No, and they declare you criminally insane.
Right.
They let you out once a year after you've been in prison, and they take you to see the sorority babes in the Slimeball Bolorama.
Oh, I found my fast forward button. It's bound to my right stick.
What the hell? I think you missed that really great title.
Sorry, what was it?
After you were in prison for being criminally insane, they let you out once a year to see the sorority babes in the Slimeball Bolorama. You were feeling particularly misogynistic, though, and you were like, "You fucking harpies!"
Wow.
Yeah. And then they punched you and kind of let loose your bloodstream, and you were like, "I did not give you the invitation to do that." And they were like, "This is the rage, carry 2, bitch." And then you're like, "You know what? Fine. I'm going back to school. I'm going to Monsters University." but the night before, you remembered the Curse of Michael Myers, and you're like, "That's probably the reason that the house is going this way." And then you, just to double check, you re-examined the Curse of Michael Myers by looking at the unrated producer's cut. And then you drank some water, Halloween water, Halloween H2O, if you will,
I will,
just to cool yourself off.
Yeah. Well done.
Thanks.
You really did it.
I did it. That was great. That was great radio.
That Frankenstein discussion reminded me of the game of Betrayal at House on the Hill that we played last night.
Yes, we encountered a Frankenstein.
Yeah, we literally fought Frankenstein's monster.
Did I tell you about the Ravishing of Frankenstein?
No.
It was a short film. It's actually my favorite thing that I've watched, probably. Maybe, like, top 5 from this month. It's a short film, I think, from the 80s. It's all paintings on glass. And it starts with kind of this ambiguous, overlapping images of, like, corpses and bones in the earth. And it gradually rises to this first-person view. And it's this first-person view that's kind of like you walking slowly through a series of just square rooms. And walking and walking and walking. And every now and again, you descend some stairs. Gradually, there starts to be these geometric shapes in the room. Mm-hmm. And as you descend, they slowly start to like take like humanoid forms. And then soon they start to resemble you, Frankenstein. And then the Bride of Frankenstein, and there's like you're passing under some arches and terraces, like, and it's just this kind of like weird film version without any actual dungeon crawling of doing dungeon crawling in like in wizardry or something. But it's obviously it's almost like about moving into depths of your own identity by reinforcing this image of yourself by like carving it out of this host of bodies that Frankenstein is made out of.
That's wild.
But it was just really, really cool. I'd never really seen anything like that. To just have a short film that inhabits that first person, like, wizardry style dungeon crawl aesthetic. It was really cool and completely unexpected.
Have you seen a trailer for that action movie that's entirely in first person?
What is it, like Hardcore Henry or something like
that.
that? I haven't. It sounds motion sicknessy. Have you
Well, I
seen
think
it?
if you saw it in 3D, I think it would probably make you throw up. But
Yeah, it sounds like a gimmicky, but
it does sound gimmicky.
I'm not
I just thought
afraid of checking out a gimmick.
it might be interesting.
That'd be interesting. It reminds me of like what's the thing? Crash, or what's the movie where Jason Statham has to like keep doing things in order to like keep himself alive?
Oh.
Crank, that's it. I've seen both Crank and Crank.
I've only seen the first Crank. I've not seen the second Crank.
I think when I watch the Cranks, like, because I'm pretty sure, Christmas
Christmas with the Cranks.
Actually, Scott and Angela and I suggested the name Christmas with the Cranks as being the name of our a movie festival, and so they actually hosted a Christmas with the Cranks where we watched all the Crank movies.
Wow.
Yeah. It was something.
Yeah, that sounds like a time.
It was something. But so in the first Crank, it's like what, his heart or some shit?
It's like a poison. Where
It's like a poison.
If his heart rate drops below a certain speed,
Yeah, he has to keep
he'll
his
just
adrenaline flowing.
Yeah, and so then he keeps his adrenaline going, so he keeps his heart rate up. I believe.
And then Crank High Voltage was the second
He
one.
needs like electricity, which is
because it's an artificial heart.
dumbest fucking thing of all time.
I kind of wanted to envision like Crank being a much longer running series where like his body parts gradually keep getting replaced or lost.
Yes.
And like
This is
right?
This is some shit that you've done. This is a bit that you've done.
Have I talked about this before?
It's a good bit, but it's been probably about a year.
Oh yeah, I didn't know if I'd mentioned it before, but I just thought about it.
You go do the whole thing. I love it.
Like, I don't remember all the pieces, but it's just like, like he starts losing like limbs and shit, and then but by like Crank 7 or 8, like he's literally just an amorphous blob of flesh because like he's missing his bones and all sorts of shit, and like I don't know what he would even need to keep him alive at that point, but like he's like absorbing people's bones and shit, like, you know what I mean? Like
It's just like a human flesh Katamari.
Yeah, exactly. But like each one, it gets progressively weirder. Like Crank 3, it's like, okay, his limbs are dripping off or something like that, and he's got to like kill people and take their arms and like graft them onto his before they decay, so he can kill the person and get the antidote or whatever. And then like in Crank 4, it's like I don't know, like his skin keeps melting off and he has to like plaster skin all over himself. And then like Crank 5, it's like
You just had this scene of a muscle human, like with no skin, just like desperately wrapping himself in saran wrap, just like come on,
so fucked up. It would be like the height of grotesquerie. But like I really like get into it at the end where it's like not only like maybe there's one where like his organs keep failing and like all of them, and like it's like a constant thing where like a new organ's failing every few
It's actually
minutes.
just a really slow paced drama. Really
Yeah.
sad.
It's really just about his heart breaking in a metaphorical sense. But so he has to like shove organs inside of himself. But I think the ultimate would be when his bones are missing and he's just like that Family Guy episode where Peter
I think
says,
his bones should dissolve slowly throughout the movie.
Yeah, exactly. So he gradually becomes like an amorphous slime.
Yeah.
And like he just stuffs bones in himself. So like eventually he'll just be like a bony mass of flesh with like Jason Statham's like face like kind of just hovering on top of it. Like I just think it would be amazing. I think it's a logical progression.
A real exercise in CG excellence. That's what that would be.
You gotta be all practical effects for this.
All practical effects. How are you going to get Jason Statham's face on there?
You just make
right.
a rubber mask of Jason Statham. It
It's
doesn't have
going
to
to
look right.
real good.
Or CG it on.
Well, I thought you just said practical effects only.
Except for that.
Except for the CG that I want. Wait, what?
Ryan, I also need to tell you that I made a lot of strides in not being a total prickhole about movies that I need to share with you.
I didn't know that you were a total prickhole about movies.
Well, I'm kind of like...
I didn't know that you used the term prickhole.
That's really gross.
That's a new one for me.
Well, now you know a lot more about me.
Like, I understand dickhole, but just like prick in particular as being the euphemism of choice here is just like really out of left field.
That's just how I am. You never know what you're gonna fucking get with me, alright?
You never know what particular euphemism for penis I'm gonna get when Claire's in the house.
Listen. You know, I've hit a real jangle stick in the Castro.
Anyway, go on. In what
YouTube.
way are you a prickhole about movies?
Nothing. I can just be a little bit like, in the past I feel like this has been kind of a media in general thing for me. Like I can be very defensive or just like very reluctant to embrace new things. You know what I mean? And like CGI usually turns me off in a lot of situations, and it still does in some. But I think like I'm totally moving past a lot of that. Like it's kind of in the same sense that as a kid, like in high school, like I totally wrote off like a lot of like quote unquote classic music. You know what I mean? Like, and I know maybe it's not something that everybody loves now, but like I never would have listened to something like as ubiquitous as like David Bowie or like, you know what I mean, or like the Rolling Stones or something like that. Mm-hmm. Do you get what I mean? Like kind of like because I thought it was like I knew what it was, like it was circumscribed for me.
I think I can kind of understand that.
Yeah, like I thought I knew what it was. And so like when I come back to things like that, I really get surprised by them because they're a lot more, there's so much more there than I ever thought there was. In a different sense though, I feel like I tend to write off newer stuff, especially like even just in my own kind of wheelhouse, like newer horror films and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I think I'm starting to very much change how I feel about those things. And biggest turning point for me was watching Argento's Dracula 3D, which I think I may have already talked about. But it has been like universally panned for being horrible, but I absolutely fucking love it. It is just, it's made up of like completely oversaturated like digital photography and horrible CG. Like the beginning is like them swooping down through like a town that looks like it's like maybe from like a Windows 98 screensaver or like Castlevania 64 style. The rooms
finally, Jesus.
Nice.
I was actually just about to Google and make sure like I didn't have to leave the town and come back to get this.
Oh, totally.
I just
you will actually appreciate this. I think what I want to say is that all of the environments felt like they were kind of empty in the sense of like Morrowind rooms. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like poorly populated RPG.
Right, and a lot of the backgrounds are green screen, but they look like it makes the film have this feeling of like early 90s CRPGs where they kind of overlay, or like Command and Conquer style FMV, you know, where it's like a person, but it's over like a completely digitized background. Yeah. At one point, Dracula turns into a giant, really bad CGI mantis. But like, so this was made in like 2013, I think. But because the CGI looks so antiquated, it made it have this weird ancient quality that I associate with the CRPGs. So it was almost like it made it like the ancient quality that you would expect from a Dracula movie out of contemporary pieces. Like instead of like implying oldness and ancientness with like stone and crypts and torches, it implies it with like really antiquated CGI. It like really worked for me that way, and I just really, really liked it. It's probably one of my favorite movies that I've seen this entire year. But it kind of changed how I think about some of these things. I think I still don't like it very much when it's in something that's supposed to be overtly realistic, but I think I'm becoming a lot more